In this episode, I thought it'd be cool to take you on a ride now that I got my picture-in-picture going on my computer for recording and walk you through how I do my macro calculations and not falling for some of the pitfalls that I've mentioned on other episodes. So if you're listening to this on audio only, I'll try to do the best I can explaining this, but you might want to go over to YouTube or Spotify where you can check out the video and see what I'm actually looking at and clicking on. So if you're interested to see how I do it and see how I keep catching clients messing this up, then stay tuned. How's it going? I'm Brad Williams, personal trainer and host of Over 40 Fitness Hacks, the podcast where I help you being over 40 to fight the aging process without giving up your social life. I've been a personal trainer and gym owner for over 15 years, and I've seen it all. If any of you in the audience need a little bit of help, I always put the link in my show notes for a free 15-minute consultation just to see if I can't point you in the right direction. Other than that, thank you for listening. I also have links to my Facebook group and a link to my favorite fitness tracker, which I talk about all the time, the Whoop 4.0. I think every single person should at least use it for a little bit to gauge how many calories you're actually burning. All those are in the show notes. Let's get on with the episode. So first thing is head over to Google, and even if you're using any other type of macro calculator, that's fine. They're all similar. I like using Legion Athletics macro calculator. A little hard to find. Literally just type it out on Google. I think it's a great place for people to start before they start fine tuning, what you're really burning, what your BMR actually is. And I'll help you get to that in a second. So just click on the first thing you see. It should take you to this form, the best macro calculator. And let's just use me as an example. So I'm a male. I'm at 200 pounds right now, struggling to hit 190 with a social life. 6'1", 44. And here's where a lot of people mess up. So if you could see right here, I'm circling this activity. In my head, I'm a personal trainer. I do a lot of time under tension. I understand that I do things a little bit slower than most people, but in my head, I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, I do some workouts 4 to 6 hours a week, but that's not really what's happening. So let's stick with that for a second. All the different formulas, they just recommend if you don't know your actual body fat, just pick this one, the Miller St. Jour. If you do know your body fat, like you went and got hydrostatic weigh-in tested, go ahead and pick one of the other ones and input that. And for me and most of my audience, we're interested in rapid weight loss because we have to counteract the social life we're having on the weekends, which pretty much means we got to go on a rapid weight loss Monday through Friday or whatever your work days are. So I leave that at 2 pounds per week. It's been working. And this has got me on a low end of 1783, almost 1800 calories, almost 180 grams protein a day, and you can see the rest. Now, real quickly, if I change this from rapid weight loss to maintain weight, this is showing me what I need to stay exactly the same according to what they think my BMR is. Well, that's the amount of energy I'm burning throughout the day, plus activity, plus some of the workouts I just said, 4 to 6 hours a week. And it's got me here at 2783 just to maintain what I got. However, this is why I talk about the importance of having fitness trackers and getting more useful data, i.e. the Whoop 4.0. And if you check this out, this changes every day, every month, depending on what's happening to you. And this little 6-month snapshot, it shows you around the 22 to 2400. So I'm not burning as many calories as what that calculator says. Right up here where I hit the 2800 calories, I basically started rebounding like crazy, lifting a little bit heavier, going on walks up the hill. If you've been looking at my YouTube shorts with my weight vest, just crushing it for that time. Then I got injured in the gym. Popped right back down to 2300 average and then down to 2290. This is a lot different from the 2700 calories that macro calculator just said I was at. So if I drop this down to, a little, I'm doing a little, even though in my mind, I'm crushing it in the gym, but this is how many hours you're doing. So now this has got me at 2400 calories for a BMR, which is closer. But like I said, some of these months I'm doing 22, so it's still off. And anytime you're off with your macros, times out by 7, that's a lot of calories to be off and wonder why you're not getting the results you're looking at. So once again, get a fitness tracker if you can, or just put this on the low setting and maybe even take 500 calories off that. So back to rapid weight loss, they put me at 1400 calories, which for me at a 200 pound male, you probably shouldn't be going below 1500 calories regardless, in my opinion. And if you're a little bit smaller, I think 1000 is the cutoff for anybody. Even my mom, who probably does a little bit less activity than me, weighs a lot less than me. She's in her 70s and she shouldn't be going below 1000 calories. So let's just stick with that. So going back to my Whoop tracker, my individual results, And this is just a snapshot of day by day. And I can't really click on this because it just took a screenshot of my cell phone. But you can see every day is completely different depending on what I did. And you can see this lowest point right here is usually a Sunday where I'm just watching football and doing nothing else. So you got to plan for that, because anytime you go over your BMR and your activity, your total calorie expenditure, everything is just getting stored as fat, and you're just playing this vicious cycle of trying to catch up. So the best way I've found is, if you have a fitness tracker, I mean, you can biohack this day by day, which is what I love. And I have a nutrition tracker that I talk about all the time, the chronometer. I just started using it. It's awesome. And by dinner time, you track everything you've gotten so far, check out your Whoop, and you'll know a normal baseline of calories burned through your Whoop by, say, 6 p.m. And if you're under what you think you should be, guess what? Dinner's getting cut in half. And if you're over, guess what? Dessert is now an option when normally it wouldn't be. So you can biohack this every day, which is, if you really want to get the results and do it fast, this is what you need. And like I said, if you don't have the fitness tracker, then just pick the lowest setting on this macro calculator. Like I said, for a guy my size, 1,500 calories, that's pretty good. You got a lot of wiggle room, even if you're going up and down on your daily activity. This is pretty low and you're bound to get some results. But just for fun, let's just say on average, if you picked one of my previous markers, I was burning, let's say 2,300 calories for the day, and I'm on my 1,500 calorie diet. I'm losing about 800 calories in deficit, which will help you get to your weight loss goals. But in my line of having a social life, that's only a savings of 5 days. So that's a savings of 4,000 calories. Then we go into the weekend and say we're creeping that up, with a few drinks, some bad food. You can easily hit 3,500 calories and you're still being good. Minus that by now your 2,000 calories expenditure, because you saw on Sundays, I hit low, sometimes 1,900, sometimes 1,800. Now I'm in the calorie excess, 1,500, and that's for Saturday and Sunday. So we're looking at 3,000 calories. So 4,000 calories minus 1,000. If I'm being good on weekends, the best I'm hoping for is 3,000 calories per week. And that's pretty good because 1,500 calories is a pound of fat. So I should be losing 2 pounds of fat per week. But like I said, it's really easy to slip up on a weekend and go way past that. And so you're always trailing behind. I recently just had an injury, so that just took me, you saw on the chart, that's why I dropped down to like 18 to 2,100 calories. But that's the whole point of biohacking. Get yourself a fitness tracker. Check out my show notes. I got a link for it. Or just do the best you can. If things aren't working, then you're going to have to go down a little bit on your calories, or you're going to have to do more activity, one or the other. But every single time a client is having issues, we go through this, and somewhere in here, either they're not telling the truth on the activity level, or they're not telling the truth on the weekends and they're not really counting. If you really wanted to see this, you would track every single alcoholic beverage, every single sugary treat you put in your mouth, every single snack. And I promise you, there's a lot more than the 3,500 calories I just did for my example. I think some weekends I'm pumping in 6,000 calories in a day. And then one last thing I forgot to mention, at least on this site, the Legion Athletics, it's really cool, the dietary preferences, balanced, low carb, ketogenic. I try to stay in between ketogenic and low carb, I think. But at least it gives you those capabilities of messing with your macros. And like I said, sometimes when I'm going all out and I'm like, I'm going to hit my marker this week, I'll pull my carbs down even lower and just increase the protein up a little bit. So I hope that helps. Like I said, really be helpful if you got some kind of fitness tracker, Apple Watch, something that tracks your actual BMR plus your activity levels, your total caloric expenditure, or you just play the guessing game. At least start tracking your nutrition. You don't have to do it forever. If you start getting good at this, you'll start figuring out, I'd better start eating the same thing, at least Monday through Friday, so you don't have to do so much work in tracking this. And I promise you, once you start getting results, you just get more and more motivated. So thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.